Good morning. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. So grateful to be here in this moment with each and every one of you. And I'm so grateful also to be in Wisconsin, where today we are beginning a reunion of many of the people who had been associated with one known as the master teacher. I want to tell you a little bit about that in a moment as a way of celebrating or initiating the energy of this gathering that's going to be taking place here for the next few days. Vicky is on her way here because this is actually where we met, being together in this community. And it certainly holds the place in my own mind and my own awareness as the place of awakening. Not that awakening needs a place, but there is an association that occurs that allows us to let go of the tension that is holding us in a limited frame, a tension that keeps us held together in limitation. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But before we do, let's go ahead and we'll share our prayer for the awakened together. We're going to do this one here. I love having different ones that we can choose from. So please join me in this prayer as we allow that tension to release. Beloved one, I am the holy home of love itself, the dwelling place of peace and light. Joy quickens my heart as I release every limitation and step fully into love. Here I rest in you, and you in me, forever one, all in all. Amen. Okay, here's the question. Have you ever had an experience where you had a particular tension or something that you were holding on to tightly, but you didn't realize it until you let go? That there was something tight, but you were so used to it. It was such a normal tightness that you didn't realize that it was even there until it released. We're going to talk a little bit about that because that was my experience when I first heard about this guy, this man who people referred to as the master teacher. Now, those of you who are at Namaste Village, you'll know that the table where Penny Honey is sitting right now, there are three pictures right in front of it. There's Yogananda, Ananda Mayama, and the Master Teacher. I think he's in the center. He's the one I'm talking about. He was this guy. His name is Chuck Anderson. He was from Chicago. A little bit about him. He had been a World War II veteran, and when he was in the I guess the Marines, he was one of the first Americans to go into Nagasaki after the atomic explosion. And the things that he saw there, the things that he experienced there, forever tightened within him. This tension increased, and seeing the terrible trauma that humans can inflict upon other humans. You could just imagine, or maybe we can't imagine what such a thing would do to the psyche. But he carried this around for decades and became a very, very dedicated alcoholic. And finally, after many, many years, he got sober. And as he did, something began to awaken with him. That tension began to release. And as it did, a whole new opening occurred. Something opened wide in his mind. The tension of the association, meaning that we hold on to our associations, you versus me, in separation. All the different personalities, all the different people, all the different situations and times, and all these different things that we use to claim that I am an isolated individual, that I am not part of a whole unified experience. I'm me and I'm in your you and all of these definitions that we use. All of those things began to dissolve. in his mind. And because he didn't have a reference for it, he wasn't into Eastern philosophy. He had never heard of A Course in Miracles at that point or any of that. So he had no reference, and it created a very fearful state because the natural reaction would be, where did I go? Where did this identity that I've used to interact in this world, where did it disappear to? Because it's dissolving. And that can be very fearful. The good thing about what we're doing here every day is we associate together in that awakening. We're not associating within the illusion, we're associating within the awakening. And so we have support, we have a context for the release of the tension of the ego into the freedom of whole-mindedness. So we support each other. He didn't have that. So it was a very fearful state. And in fact, the one thing that I remember him saying is that it was so fearful that he tried to crawl under the wall-to-wall carpet to hide, to get away from it, to maintain this limited identity that he was so accustomed to. But there was no going back. Just like for each one of you, there is no going back. You may try, you may think you can, but there comes a point where you know too much. You have seen and realized too much to go back to that, back to the dream. It's like waking up in the morning and saying, oh gosh, it's cold outside. I want to go back to that dream. Sorry, you woke up. Dream's over. And so this dream, the dream of separation, the dream of illusions is ending in your mind, and there's no going back. There's a momentum of awakening that's occurring in your mind. And this is what was happening in his mind. So he just began to teach from this perspective. Excuse me. Ultimately, someone gave him a book, a blue book called A Course in Miracles. And they said, this kind of sounds like what you're saying to us. And he began to read the course and said, this is exactly what I'm trying to say to you. So I may as well just teach from this book. And that's how it happened. I want to tell you one quick story before I show you something of my own personal experience. You see, because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. We've all heard that. Or when the fruit is ripe, it falls off the tree by itself. A ripened fruit, something that is ready to be consumed, something that where the juice is fully formed, it falls off the tree by itself. So what happened in my own life, I was, I think, 29 maybe, and a friend of mine who is here, I'm going to see her later today, actually. She sent me, I think, two or three cassette tapes. And these cassettes, she said, I'm living in this place in Wisconsin, and there's this guy here known as the master teacher. Immediately I thought, master teacher? Who in the world calls himself a master teacher? But she said, you should listen to these tapes. Now, this time I was living in a Catholic worker house, which is a place where we would serve the homeless with AIDS, actually, in the early 1990s. And I had my room and I had a little tape recorder, so I popped in this cassette tape and I began to listen. And as I listened to this guy, I don't know what he was saying. In fact, I really didn't relate to it much at all. But something was moving inside me. Something was waking up inside me. I could feel it. You might want to call it a Kundalini rush. Something was rushing through me energetically. And I didn't know what it was. And I remember my friend Lisa Wagner was walking by my room, and I said, Lisa, come in here. I want you to hear this. Tell me if you feel something. And she listened for a little while, and she said, well, it's very interesting, but I don't feel anything. So well, I feel something. Something's happening. And that was the beginning. Now, of course, I was in Chicago. This is just, 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours north in Wisconsin. So a week or so later, I caught a ride up here and I was able to go to my first session, which is, very similar to what we do here every day, just a lot longer. We only do it for a half hour. They would go 3 hours or so. But I went to my first session and that rush continued to awaken within me. More than anything, though, the tension began to release. The attention of the association of a split reality, something that I perceive to be separate from my own self with a capital S, and trying to hold that association like two magnets that you're trying to hold, two magnets that want to come together, but you're using all of your strength to hold them apart. That's what perception is. And suddenly, in that moment, I just began to release the tension, and that which wants to move together, to come together, merged. And that was the beginning for me. And that's why I call, we just refer to him as dear one. I refer to him as my awakener. I don't know what it was. Who knows how it happens, but it's the release of that association, the giving of everything, the willingness to give everything, to hold nothing back. This is a very ancient teaching. We hear all the great masters say this. You have to be willing to give everything. Don't hold anything back. So that being said, what I want to do is I want to show you a little video that I just made right before this session to demonstrate just a little bit of this. And maybe you'll feel something moving inside you. Maybe you are right now. Just sometimes hearing this call can be enough to stir those juices, the juices of awakening. So I want to play a little something from one of the sessions. The audio is from one of the sessions with the master teacher. It's just 1 minute, and I want to see what you feel. So let me go ahead and put this up on the screen, and we will go from there. Oh, hold on 1 second. I don't know if I hit the right button. We got to make sure y'all get the sound. There we go. Glad I caught that. Okay, here we go.
The real trick to this is don't study it, give it. Listen to me. Everything. Don't ask what. If you defend yourself in any regard, you're going to get caught up in what? Reciprocity. I'm offering you the impossible immediately. But remember, it's the demonstration of the release of your tensions, okay, that are what the miracle is. Obviously, if your perception is the obstacle to the miracle, which is nothing but whole mind, when you release that tension of association, you're whole. Why? Wholeness is what everything is. I can't teach you what love is, but I can show you what the obstacles are, and they're you.
Okay. Was that loud enough? Could you hear that? It was very, very low on my computer. Okay. So let's look at that a moment. Don't study it. Give it. Be the source. Don't sit and just read books trying to get what the books are saying to you. That's not going to get you anywhere. There is a point at which we need the books, we need the teaching or the teacher. Yes, absolutely. But it's only going to be when we make a resolute decision to be the source of that to everyone in every moment that we realize we never had to get it because it got us a long time ago. We need to let it get us. And this is what he was referring to. Don't study it. Don't spend all of your time focused on trying to learn that which is really unlearnable here in this association. Wholeness cannot be learned within the realm of separation, within the dream. Do you get that? So you're not going to get it like that. You can read A Course in Miracles, A Course of Love. You can read the Bible. You can read whatever, all you want. But it's not going to click until you decide to be the source, to give it away. And like someone said, you can probably hear someone said, give what? He said, give everything. Don't ask what. Don't try to define what is. Don't try to define it in your mind. Just be the source of every moment, every electric, exciting moment that comes through your awakened consciousness. And the other thing that I think is so important that he said, the demonstration of the release of your tensions, that's what the miracle is. The demonstration of the release of that tension that you didn't even know was there, the tension of perception. You have to release that. And how do you release it? Well, first of all, by admitting to it, by becoming aware of it. Like if there's a kink in your back, oh, I can feel it now. And then someone comes and rubs that spot. It's like, oh, I can feel it releasing. I can feel a tension letting go. The tension that's letting go in you is your identity. Because as the master teacher said, you are the problem. Not the you that is known by God, the you that you claim to be separate from God. The identity that you seem to have used to separate yourself, to isolate yourself, to hide. The identity that you've used to hide. That's what the problem is, the you that you have claimed. So he also said, in your perception, if your perception is the obstacle to the miracle, releasing the tension of the association that brings you into an immediate state of wholeness. Releasing that tension will bring you into an immediate state of wholeness because everything is whole. Everything that is real is whole. This is the basic message of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That which is whole forever. That which is real forever. You don't need to make it real. You don't need to make it whole. You just need to realize it. And the first step to realizing what is real and whole is to realize how you have blocked what is real and what is whole. No more need to block. No more need to defend. Only to give. Only to be the source. So I remember so well 30 something years ago when I was 29 and I came here to this beautiful part of Wisconsin. Now, you got to remember, I'm from Chicago, so I'm a Bears fan. So suddenly I'm in Packer territory. So that was a stretch for me right there. But once I got over that and I just released this is a good example to release the tension of the association of being a Bears fan. It shows up in weird little subtle ways. Oh, I'm attached to this, or I'm attached to that person. I can't let go of something else. Let go of everything. Come with holy, empty hands unto God. That's all. Now, I say that like, it's nothing. And it isn't really, but we have made it something. We have made it seem very big and very difficult because the first thing that occurs in our mind is, how do I let go of, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to relate to other people, whatever it is? Don't worry about that. Just trust. Just give it away. Be the source. You don't have to figure anything else out. Just release the tension of needing to hold together an illusion, a dream. You don't have to hold a dream together in your mind anymore. This is the moment that you chose to awaken. I promise you this is true. This is the moment. The need for you to hide and to pull the covers up over your head so you can stay in the dream just a little bit longer. It's ended. Now is the moment. So for me to come back to this place and have Vicky and all of the others, there are probably about 120, 130 people who are showing up here today. But it's all you. That's why I feel so blessed to be with all of you, to know that Namaste Village is spreading this light all through the world, through these the sacred moments that we share in our sessions, through the interactions that take place at Namaste Village itself. Most of all, your willingness to give everything. So, Penny, honey, take it away from there.
Oh, James, you are a great guy to follow in a lot of different ways. You know, I made that transition, only I did it the other direction. I went from Packers to Bears because I lived in southern Wisconsin. Yeah, that's transformation for you, right? That association, that association that allows that tension, that keeps us together in limitation. That's what I heard you say. You know, I have started receiving some of the things from the boxes that I never received here in Mexico because I had some friends coming down. And I hold these little trinkets up and I think, oh, this is silly. Really, this is just silly. But my association to that holds value in my mind. This is why letting go of these things, not just the fears, not just those things, the trauma, those things that have limited us in expression, but that association kind of leans into the things in our life that we hold special also. This is where it gets a little trickier for me. I like the idea of giving my all to the love that has given everything to me. And I do like some of those symbols that still remind me. Some of them remind me of the transformation I've lived through. Some of them remind us of the things we have forgiven. Some of them remind us of the people that have physically gone before, that we know are never further than a thought or a prayer away. Those kind of associations are difficult to let go of. And the truth of the matter is, they are always with us. We don't need to consider what I have to hang on to in order to hold this limitation of our expression. It's part of it, but not all of it. It plays a role in the glue that holds us together. And that tension sometimes that we hold around some of those things in our life, in the world, we don't notice it, do we? Until you sit down with that cup of tea and you think, oof, that might have been a big day. And we start to realize, through our real eyes, know that that was temporary. And this came to pass. And the real us is sitting in this glorious expression of spirit. And it just happens to be holding a cup of tea. And we are that. And James, you're absolutely correct when you say, I can't imagine the experiences that he moved through, that his soul called in so that he might become to some as the great teacher, the master. And the truth is, I appreciate the oneness in those moments because his experiences are now blessing us, but we didn't have to walk through those. I want you to feel that connection and that oneness and the gift of that. And then to know that that is what you associate with your awakening. This is really something for us to celebrate and recognize in our own lives. We have a lot of people that have gone before us like that, and we will be one of those folks in this physical plane for those around us when we step into our awareness and our knowing. You know, I was thinking about that tension, and of course, you know, my little construction mind goes to this. Did you know that what makes concrete, one of the elements that makes concrete so strong, is the fact that we pull tension cables through the concrete before it's set You'll see the little ears sometimes out at the edges of the concrete. And those are pulled taut, and they're held in that place of tension until the concrete is at its greatest expression of strength. And in that tension, the concrete finds literally the vibration of solidness. And those tension cables help to hold that until the concrete is whole. I offer this up to you. Find those tension cables. See that they have served you. And when they are released, the concrete stands strong and remains strong. It came to bless you, those tensions. It came to serve you. And now you can release them. Let yourself be the strength that you are. Let yourself be that amazing, strong, spirit, centered, wholeness, aware being that you are. And I will guarantee you, there will be more little tensions in your life. There may be some big ones, but the tension, when it is released, and you didn't even notice it was there, will help bring you to your greatest strength. And it's sustainable. And it's beautiful because then you release into the strength that you are, that you've always been, and that you will always be. The tension of perception, I loved that line. What are we perceiving that is still holding those cables? What are you perceiving that holds you back? That doesn't give you the opportunity, as long as it thinks it's doing its job, to allow you to step into your strength and your knowing. Where in your life? I ask that every day. I notice when I watch the video, because I ask that question of myself. Where in my life can this serve me? Where in my life that I'm living in this plane, that I am in this physical expression, am I going to allow that spiritual growth and transformation to serve the greater good? Where? Where can you release some tension cables today? How do you want to be blessed in this? I am grateful, James. I'm grateful for all the teachers that have gone before us. And we're grateful for you. I appreciate this. Truly. You stretch me past my own tension. You teach me that there is strength and that I have always been one with that. And what a peaceful place to be, to rest into that knowing. Thank you for that. Juniper, anything else, my dear?
Only that the teacher is as grateful for the student as the student should be for the teacher, because we're one in this. All we're doing is shining the light. That's all a teacher does. But we receive that same light every time someone says, yes, I get it now. I see it. I'm letting go. I'm just going to relax into this beautiful state of wholeness. It's really so simple. We just have to be willing to let go. The fear is that if I let go, maybe there won't be anybody there to catch me, or whatever it might be, however that fear manifests. But there's no reason to be afraid. Look at where we are. Look at who surrounds us. Look how blessed we are. Doesn't matter where we live or what we're doing. Just relax. Yeah, thanks, Brenda. Just relax into love. That's the key. And to that, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen y punto. Thank you, everyone. Vicky and I will be here tomorrow, so we won't be at the morning session, but I'm sure our dear Penny is going to take you all to the next level. So to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say. Much love to you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you.